This segment being brought to you by Walgreens. Walgreens is here for all your diabetes needs. Stop by today to consult with your pharmacist and get trusted advice and tips about diabetes, medications, and testing supplies. And thanks to the people over at Indeed.com. If you're hiring, that's the place to go right there. They do it up right. You know the deal. Check it out. They'll help you. Indeed.com. Dee and Davis are sitting here with me for the rest of the hour. It's guest week on the show, so we invite guests in. Vincent Goodwill is going to join me at 8 o'clock. I'm sure he's going to blaspheme about Scottie Pippen, and that'll be fun for all of us because I expect that we will yell at each other. I expect it. Oh, probably not. I'm not that much of a yeller anymore, but we'll see. We'll see how he wants to play this because we play it one of two ways. We can be nice. I mean, we're colleagues and friends, or he can start talking that Pistons nonsense, and if he does, then there's gonna be a problem.
He reps the angle you get, but he really reps his city though with that one. And the Bulls and the Pistons thing from back in the days, if you lived through it, it was hard. And when they used to kick the Bulls' butt, that was like the first time I cried over a sporting event, and I really was just getting into basketball.
It was like we were living it.
Yeah.
It was like we were living in the Jordan origin story.
Exactly. So for Jordan to destroy them and then go on to even more lavish fame and more, I understand how they hate, but the Pippen thing is semi-ridiculous.
Yeah, what's up with you? Why you on?
He basically like Scotty's not a top 50 player.
Come
and
on,
just
man.
all that.
I told you the boy is gonna be blaspheming. We'll see what he ends up saying about it. What did you guys think of the Jabari Parker move?
I like it.
I liked it.
Me too.
It's basically a 1 year deal. They have all this money to spend, so they had to spend it somewhere. It's great for marketing. Welcome back home. Welcome back. I liked it. I mean, I don't know defensively what he's going to do. You know, his feet are fast enough to keep up with threes in the league, but as we discussed plenty of times on our show, the league is all about switching right now. Not all teams can do it, but teams do switch.
It's not all about switch.
It's about switch. Listen, Wendell Carter, when he's out there, going to have to learn how to guard a two and a three. It's just kind of the part of the NBA game. Everybody got to do.
Everyone's running screen roll, so
Yeah.
you better be able to switch off onto a guard if you have
That's
to.
what's
But
going to
you're
happen.
not going to switch everything all the time.
No, not all the
That's
time.
how people
No, not all the time.
But that's kind of now the generic thing that people are running with. Like, we're just switching, we're switching. Like, no. It's a couple teams that can do that. Other teams know sometimes, hey, guy, you're going to have to stay home on this one. Like, you can't just switch everything. You're going to set yourself up that way. And that was when we were having a debate about Carter and Jabari Parker. That was one of the only things I was saying. Like, you're not going to just switch everything. Yeah, he's going to get ate up defensively, him and Zach LaVine. It's going to be, do they want it? And especially Zach LaVine. I will give Jabari a pass slightly until it seems like he's totally worked himself back to being a player. But no, they're going to get ate up defensively. It's not. But I think it's going to be entertaining. Yeah, that's my thing, real quick.
Yeah.
Look, you're going to be entertained by this Bulls team?
Yeah, because they're in a situation where last year, and I think if you wanted them to tank, you saw by December, wow, now we'll give Fred Hoiberg props. They're playing better than what we're expecting they're playing for, all right? And you look at that fact and you knew, well, let's tank for 2 years. It's like, we're not going to tank next year. They're going to be too good. And when I mean too good, they could still miss the playoffs, but they're not going to be a team that can get to the top of the lottery. And we saw this year they weren't a team that could get to the very top of the lottery. So looking at what Garpax did this time, I can't hate on them as much because it's a team that wasn't going to get in the top of the lottery. I think you got an asset that either you can flip. Let's not forget, these players may also be used to bring in an acquisition of a player that's disgruntled with his team. So don't always look at it like these guys are going to be here at the end. Some of these guys are going to be moved to bring in something else, contract-wise, too, it helps out. So I don't think it was a bad move. I think it was a smart move.
That's what you want if they all produce. My only problem is we got to see if Jabari produces. You got to see if Zach LaVine actually. And even though everybody's kind of mad because he's getting like $20 million a year, that's kind of the going rate for what for the player that's right now in the NBA. So don't get mad about that.
I'm also not mad at the season that he had because you knew what it was. It's a guy rehabbing off of ACL.
Right.
So if he needs to go out there and get his shots, go get your shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. It was a year, like, nothing mattered last year.
Basically.
You weren't playing for anything. So let that man go up there and chuck 30 shots if that's what he got to do.
My biggest concern, it always goes back to, is going to be the coaching. Now, you have these young guys out there. Robin Lopez probably won't finish this season. You're probably going to try to move him to try to get some more playing time for Wendell Carter. Can this coaching staff develop these players into a team that can eventually contend 2 seasons from now? That's my gripe. I don't know if that can happen. So you have all these young guys. Yes, Jabari's on a 1-year deal. Yes, Zach LaVine has to go out there and prove himself. Yes, Chris Dunn, maybe that lockdown point guard, but you want something more. You have Lauri Markkinen.
The Finnish Lord.
There you go. And you have Wendell Carter Jr.
Is that trademark? Is that you going with a trademark on that?
You better, because that's what he always told.
The Finnish Lord.
Finnish Lord.
Comes from down high. Look at him, the Finnish Lord.
He's here.
He's here.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm a marketing guy.
But you got to, but you hope that the coaching staff will be able to put these guys together.
My thing,
that's my biggest worry.
My thing, the players that we mentioned, Zach and Jabari, is how does Zach affect winning? He has all the tools. And I used to have a joke when he's at UCLA, and it's rude. But I was like, man, I don't know if he could read. And that's me being jokeful. But I still wanted the Bulls to get him. And I thought watching him, perhaps he would slip into the teams. And it was like, nah, he's going to be a player taken higher in the draft. And then to see what he did in Minnesota, being on a team where he was the third wheel and still almost averaged 20 points and was shooting 40%. He has the skills. But like when we were kids, remember before Jordan? I know people are like, hey, who talking about Jordan? Before Jordan, the leading scorer couldn't have a winning team or definitely a contending team. And the guys would just be chucking up shots. And you're right, still, he needs to go out there and get a wreck shop. But when will he incorporate winning and knowing what to do and when to do it?
Well,
and it goes with coaching, but it also goes with the play.
I think that speaks a lot to what D is saying here about whether or not you have a coaching staff that can put all of this stuff together and make it work. Because you're right. You're talking about a player that has no history of winning. And you're asking him to, at least for now, be the centerpiece of your winning. Like, you're supposed to be kind of the guy. Like, I would imagine they expected Markkinen, the Finnish Lord, is going to be the guy. But for now, Zach LaVine's got the money. He's got all the money, and he's got the long-term deal. So he becomes the person who is supposed to lead this franchise kind of by default. So if you don't come from that type of culture, do you know how to work inside that culture along with being the guy? And I'm not sure, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think your question about the coaching staff is a significant one. I gained a lot of respect for Fred Hoiberg last year.
Me too.
They didn't quit on him.
That's saying a lot.
It is.
And they're coming into a team that the players basically during Thibodeau's last year were told, just don't respect the coach. You don't have to play on the string anymore. And then those players, when Hoiberg got here, were still living off of the same mentality. Of course, you just can't flip the switch back. So then some of these players are still used to what those players were teaching them. And for him to be able to change it, I know those vets were gone. To me, it said something to him. And I'm looking at the appeal that he had before he got here. When you look at people, what am I saying?
Tony go get Vinny?
We're comparing him to Kerr and being that up and coming, and we know that guard Pax had their hooks in him. Look, dude's got 2 more years left on that deal. You're not doing anything right now for anybody talking about getting rid of him. I have some faith. I'm not putting all my faith. But after last year, I have more faith in Fred Hoiberg, especially since these players fit the system a lot more than the players he came in with initially.
They are younger guys for a guy that was a college coach. Those guys won't stay young. They're eventually going to tune him out, and you can't have that young mentality coaching professionals. It just does not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So eventually they're going to have to move on.
I don't know about that.
And I mean, you can have his guys and run the system and things of that nature. Listen. You have to, when it comes down to it, it's coming down to winning. And can he put these guys, can he be a leader of men? Because as you just said, you don't know what you have in Zach LaVine, who's supposed to be, I guess, the leader of this team. And I think it was reports coming out, maybe even Vince talked about this, how Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn was kind of butting heads on who's going to be the alpha dog. That's where you need somebody that's when you need a coach with a strong mentality or strong mind to come in and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to win. I see none of that happening with the Chicago Bulls team. They won't make the playoffs. They had to win at least 40 to 41 games, maybe 42 games. They won 27 last year. That's more than a 20-game jump to get into the playoffs. It's not going to happen.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Why not?
Because, look, what he's saying, you have to lean towards what he's saying as far as the amount of games you have to play. But I won't say the East is totally wide open. But it is open more than it was last year, and to a certain degree.
Yeah, you've eliminated one team.
Yeah, if Chris Dunn's teeth don't hit the floor on the United Center, you probably end up winning 30-something games right there. So if we're saying that regardless how you feel about Chris Dunn, if he can still be the same player, Lauri takes another step, you are closer. I'm not saying that they're going to be out of 30 to 40 wins. I'm not saying this team can be number 5, but I don't think you can just totally say there's no chance whatsoever